Isadora holds Mike closer to her chest to keep Mike away from the situation Sebastian has to deal with alone. Mike Ryan Rivera woke up and found himself back in the Ravenclaw common room with Isadora Morganac, the Scottish professor. He asks her why he is back here in the common room and where Sebastian is. Isadora explains to Mike that he'd be better off staying completely away from the business Marula and Sebastian are going to settle. Mike is not in the right place for that. Like Poppy Sweeting said, he is just a lover, not a fighter. Isadora was sent to carry Mike back to the Ravenclaw common room, with her holding him to her after she bewitched Mike to sleep to rest it all off until then. Isadora was just sitting on the couch while holding Mike to her, confronting his anger about Marula fighting Sebastian alone to fix the mistakes he made, which was letting Marula get the best of Mike by humiliating him every day in classes. Sebastian knew the chaos he let happen to Mike Rivera. He blamed himself for letting his cowardice control him, telling him to not do anything about it because there is nothing to change the fact. Marula is only fooling everybody, including Mike. Sebastian never forgives himself for that foolish cowardice he showed to Mike, knowing that he knew about Marula's humiliation plan. Marula went off to fight with Sebastian to settle this once and for all, while the battle arena reached its final wave. Marula started appearing to Sebastian with a serious look on both of their faces, glaring at each other with a serious look. Sebastian talks to Marula about how nice it was for her to join in. Marula mocks Sebastian for the meaningless cowardice he caused. Marula told him he knew that she was going to humiliate Mike for days, and he knew about it, but did nothing but keep it to himself. Knowing what was going to happen, even though he wouldn't do anything about it, would still make him a foolish little coward. Sebastian had no idea how to deal with it. He explains to her that you can only assume what Mike did to you. It was nothing but lies is what Sebastian only hears from him, nothing but lies. Marula has no idea what Sebastian was talking about because she refuses to believe it. Sebastian knows it's true. She would only assume what Mike didn't do to Marula was not the first thing he started. Marula keeps lying to Sebastian that Mike did humiliate Marula for days. He just wasn't there to see it. That only made Sebastian furious to fight against her with a flick of his wand, basic casting straight to her as Marula failed to parry his attack and fell to the ground, dropping her wand out of her hand. Poppy, Omini's Natty, Anne, and Isadora came back to the common room. After they had a conversation with Marula to never ever plan a joke about Mike's non-magic appearance ever again, Marula explains exactly what she is. A mocking, stubborn person who manipulated students for fun just because she was bored. Poppy Sweeting walks to Mike, holding his hand to give it a soft, slow stroke with her thumb. She talks to him, while Isadora holds him to never ever put himself out to a risk he shouldn't be in. Mike told Poppy he wants to be more than a student. He also wanted to defend his friends as well, but Poppy told Mike he is trained to only defend himself against the dark arts, not when students are putting each other at risk in dueling, meaning to put Mike in the middle of it. Poppy is not having it, not now, not ever. Poppy looks at him with her brown eyes glaring at him to confront him to stay as a lover, never a fighter. It's what he is meant for. He should be happy about it. A lover is what his friends wanted him to be. Isadora also gave Mike the talk to always stay that way as well to his friends and let Sebastian handle it on his own. He did this to him, and he should be fixing this by settling it off with a dueling fight with Marula. Mike gave up and decided to agree to it and let it all go. Sebastian has it all covered up on his own. He should be fine after the fight is over. Because what will Marula do now? If Sebastian or if Marula won the fight, what will happen next? If Sebastian won, maybe she'll learn to pick on her own side, but never on Sebastian's side, including his friends. Poppy Sweeting took Mike to the common room to feed him lunch, putting enough food for him to eat on his plate. Then Anne Sallow, aka Sebastian's sister, would take Mike to Hogsmeade for a little walk. Mike went to this one flower shop for Poppy Sweeting. He picked out a rose bag of flowers. He knocked on the dormitory door where the others shared the room with Mike. Poppy was at her desk with her homework. As she turns to Mike, he pulls out the bag of rose flowers from behind his back, giving her the love he felt for her. Mike offered Poppy a date. Poppy felt most agreed to as she took a break from working. She picked out her favorite dress for the night. Poppy was picking out a dress for a special night with Mike at Hogsmeade. Anne Sallow, Natty Onai, and Isadora Morganac helped style Poppy's favorite dress. One she first wore at the winter ball, but now it's the dress she wears on dates. As for Mike, Omini's was the only one who helped him pick out an outfit. Unlike Sebastian still fighting against Marula at the dark battle arena, Sebastian is really putting up a fighter in him. After all of that training in the battle arena, the real challenge still going on. As for Mike, he waits for Poppy outside of the courtyard to being their dating lifetime expression throughout Hogsmeade and the magical creatures forest. As for Sebastian, the fight went on for 10 minutes, and Marula was not even hit a single shot to Sebastian, only made it even easier to him. Close to finish her off, with a few hits will do, but Marula finally got the chance to basic cast his right shoulder. It was not even enough until then Sebastian Expelliarmus Marula wand out of her hand to end it for good, as they ran out of breath. Sebastian took a few steps closer to see if she has enough of it, and yet ends the humiliation she has done to Mike. Marula looks at Sebastian furious and still hasn't given up yet, but he has, and yet it's already getting out of hands for too long. Sebastian ends the dueling for good and includes himself the winner of the Battle Arena champion. Marula refuses to give up, but the battle already ended. She picked up her wand for one last shot at Sebastian, but he grabs her wrist in frustration. Marula started to struggle away as possible, but Sebastian only gives her the opportunity to stop this nonsense and face the fact she has lost the battle. Sebastian won, and this humiliation ends here. Marula refuses it, but Sebastian grips her wrist tighter to get her to stop struggle, as she whimps a little bit in frustration. She tells Sebastian to let go of her already. She explained to him that none of this would happen if he had on stand there and watch her humiliated his friend every day. Sebastian still hasn't forgiven himself for the selfish cowardly he has let it done. Meanwhile, as Mike and Poppy were at the Three Broomsticks restaurant on their date, they gazed at each other with twinkling stars sparkling in their eyes. Poppy stroked Mike's hand with her thumb. Their date went on perfectly. They stopped at the magical creatures forest to meet up with the hippogriffs. Then, when they set up the blanket to stare at the view of Hogwarts at the Cliff Mountains, seeing how beautiful it looks from the mountain view, they walk back to the Ravenclaw dormitory, meeting up the others. Natty O'Neill, Amelie's Gaunt, and Isadora Morganac, Scottish professor, ask them how was their date. Poppy held both of Mike's hands, as Poppy tells the others what a special man Mike is to Poppy, showing her all the lifetime supply of exploring the world of Wonderland. Poppy will never forget the time Mike took Poppy out on a special, unforgettable night explore it was, but the suddenly hearing a loud sound of a heavy, loudly breathing coming to the dormitory. The others grab their wands and so does Mike, but the others recommend he stays behind Poppy for protection. And out comes Sebastian from his long minute of dueling Marula, all sweaty and tiredness from the miserable battle against Marula. The others lowering their wands as Anne asks her brother, as he come to his sense to start thinking what he has caused. Sebastian was in the right moment to talk about the mistake he shouldn't have let it happen to Mike. As Sebastian takes a moment to catch his breath, he explains it that Marilla was just trying to get his attention after all this time. She only wanted to test out his abilities, strength and magic, to see what he has got in her. And so with that, Marula wasn't really mocking Mike's non-magical talents. She was just drawing his attention to her, just to him to duel against her, to test out his abilities. And what skill does he have that he got what it takes for Marula to be beaten at her own game? Anne, Sebastian's sister, was still furious of Sebastian's foolishness he yet caused it to happen on Mike. But Sebastian was so terribly sorry about that. But then, Anne still wants him to make it up to Mike and work it out with him until then. If he doesn't, then he'll have to sleep on the couch, until Anne and the others are ready to forgive him. But Mike was shocked and confused on why would he be sleeping on the couch if he didn't work things out with Mike. Natty would say that Sebastian should ever been this foolish then, to ever add harm to Mike at all. There for her has it until the next dawn to work it out with Mike. Then, their decision was made for.